My friends, if you are smart, you don't matter. That's how the Democrats see things. Greetings, my name is Howard Real. The show is called Real Truth. Call in 877-254-7524. We already know who does not matter anymore in America, right? If you're white, you don't matter. If you're conservative, you're nothing. If you're male, if you're straight, if you're middle class, you don't exist as far as the Democrat Party is concerned, because they're not playing to you. They're not trying to entice you, and so they're offering you nothing. In fact, they've got a heaping spoonful of disdain for anybody who matches any of those descriptions. Item from the New York Post. A school diversity panel created by Mayor Bill de Blasio wants to junk the gifted and talented programs and other forms of academic screening in city schools, arguing that such programs perpetuate racial inequality because they're comprised mostly of white and Asian students. The School Diversity Advisory Group called on de Blasio and schools chancellor Richard Carranza to ditch the current G&T system, according to recommendations released Monday. Unquote. Folks, you've heard me say in the past that it's always the liberals, the Democrats, who are the real racists, and here's Exhibit A. The Democrats don't want any more gifted and talented programs because they exclude blacks and Hispanics. Well, folks, aren't the Democrats saying that there aren't enough black and Hispanic gifted and talented children? Of course they are. This is like the fumble that Joe Biden made a couple of weeks ago. You got white kids and then you got poor kids. He took a lot of heat for that, as he should have, because it was a brainless and racist thing to say. And so now here is the racist numbskull, Mayor Bill de Blasio of New York, who has some kind of fever dream about one day being president. He wants to do away with gifted and talented programs. You know, there are some people who call people like that cognitively, cognitively privileged. In other words, they're smarter than the rest of us, which means they are the enemy. So let me give you a hypothetical situation. Let's say you need a life-saving operation. And you go into the hospital on the day of your surgery and you get prepped and you're on the table. And they say, the surgeon will be right in. Are you ever going to say, well, hang on a second. What race is the surgeon? I don't care if he graduated first in his class. I don't care if he's done 1,000 surgeries like this before. I don't care if he has a sterling reputation. What's his race? Because if he's white, if he was in a gifted and talented program, I don't want him. Could something like that ever happen on this planet? No, right? So we're going to take money and resources away from the gifted and talented students, whom the Democrats tell us aren't going to be black and Hispanic. They're going to be white and Asian. That's the Democrats talking. We don't want to help talented and gifted people. We want to help people of a certain race. Folks, that's the very definition of racism. That's definition of racism 101. The racists are always found on the left, among the Democrats, among the liberals. We conservatives, we want a meritocracy. If you're smart, if you're gifted and talented, we want to give you a push even further to help you really capitalize on your God-given gifts. And we don't care what race you are. I don't care what your ethnicity is. It's pure meritocracy. Well, the Democrats see the world differently. If you're white, get to the back of the line. And we're seeing that increasingly in America today. Or if you're Asian, like at Harvard, where it's been proven they've been discriminating against Asian applicants for years. I guess Democrats assume that blacks and Hispanics are stupider than whites and Asians. I've never made that assumption. You never, ever hear that from conservatives because we don't think that way. If you deserve added resources because you've excelled, because you're gifted, because you're talented, and you've proven it, then we want to push you even further into the stratosphere. Be as fantastic as you can be, just like in the world of business. We want to let businesses, let entrepreneurs do their thing so that they can succeed beyond their wildest dreams. I don't care about your race. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what color your skin is. Remember this. The Democrats, the liberals among us are always, but always, but always the true racists. Item from InfoWars. The uncle of an Italian girl who was raped and murdered by a Nigerian migrant has threatened to show photos of her dismembered body to the Italian parliament if the country's new government repeals Matteo Salvini's strict immigration laws. Following the collapse of Italy's coalition government led by populist firebrand Salvini, the Five Star Movement is set to form a new coalition with the left-of-center Partito Democratico. This prospect led the uncle of 18-year-old Pamela Mastropietro, who was raped, murdered, and dismembered by a Nigerian, quote, cannibal mafia, unquote, in the Italian town of Macerata, to threaten to display photos of his niece's remains to the public, unquote. My friends, I have tremendous respect for this uncle. He's got incredible courage and strength. And yes, I would take photos of this poor 18-year-old girl's body, raped, murdered, cut to pieces. I would take those photos and smear them, wipe them in the faces of the Italian parliament members. The only thing that could be more effective than that is taking the remains of this corpse to Parliament and pulling off the sheet and let them look at it and say, This is the result of your obscene, ignorant immigration policies allowing every piece of garbage in the third world to flow in unchecked in great numbers, absolutely demolishing the country. Large parts of Europe are finished because they've done this. Well, between you and me, large parts of Europe deserve it. But America doesn't. And I don't want to see this kind of obscene stupidity continue to happen here. It's Wednesday. It's real truth. We'll be right back.
Ryan again with Turf Tamers Landscaping. What a great season we've had so far. We've installed flower beds, paver and flagstone patios. We've planted hundreds of trees, shrubs, and flowers, and generally beautified many homes and commercial properties. Thank you to all the KGFC listeners. Give us a call and participate. If you are in Fort Collins, Loveland, Timness, Wellington, or LaPorte, please call us at 970-460-8873 or visit us at turftamerslandscaping.com.
A lot of radio stations boast about having 2, 3, 4, 500,000 listeners. But what they don't tell you is the average listener only listens for 4 minutes. A song plays they don't like, same old boring commentary, or worse yet, as soon as the commercial starts playing, they change the station. Here at 1360 KHNC, our listeners listen longer, a lot longer. We have one of the longest time spent listeners in the industry. That means our listeners don't change the dial when the commercial starts playing because they don't want to miss what our host has to say next. Advertise at 1360 KHNC and have your message be heard. Call us at 970-587-5003. We also have the best rate in Colorado. 970-587-5003 or 1360KHNC.com.
Want to get away from all the traffic and people? Yearning for a moment of peace and quiet? Join me, Brian, on a Trout Tamers excursion, fly 60 plus out the cool waters of the North Platte River. Experience the broad, sweeping, and empty landscapes of Wyoming to soothe your soul. Call me at 970-460-8873 or book a trip at trouttamers.com.
Alex Jones here, right here, KHNC in the heart of North Dakota. Stay tuned. The Alex
My friends, despite the promo you heard just a few seconds ago, this is not the Alex Jones Show. This is Real Truth. My name is Howard Real. Now, we're talking about people in America who just plain don't matter. White people don't matter as far as the Democrats are concerned. Middle class, working class people don't matter. Straight people don't matter. Men don't matter. These are all the deplorables, the basket of irredeemables. The Democrats don't care about them. And the Democrats, as I said, are always the racists. Now, here is Tucker Carlson. He's interviewing a woman, African-American woman, who's going to make the case that the solution to racism is more racism. Let's listen.
Keith Ellison's personal radicalism fits into another really troubling trend on the left that has massive implications for the country and for you. Last time we talked to journalist Chadwick Moore about how, on the left, in the name of fighting racism, it is now common to attack people on the basis of their race.
If you want to see racism everywhere, if you're brainwashed to see racism everywhere, or homophobia everywhere, or whatever, then you will. That's the world you will live in. You know, I was having a conversation with a woman not too long ago about this, a young upper middle class black woman, and she was talking about how badly she gets treated on the street here in New York. And I said to her, "What if you lived for one day as a white woman and you were treated the exact same way?"
Monique Presley is a lawyer and a Democratic commentator, and she joins us now. Monique, great to see you.
Good to see you.
Totally opposed to, I think, I'm 48, I grew up in a country where you had to be, and most people I knew were, totally opposed to attacking other people on the basis of their race because you can't control your race, right? You're not responsible for it.
You're saying you grew up in a country where
that's where I grew up. That everyone said that at school. Most people I knew said they believed that. Maybe they didn't, but you kind of had to say that, and I believed it. I still believe it. Now we live in a world where the left still says that, and yet they do it and somehow exempt themselves from the normal rules. So you're racist, but when I attack you on the basis of your race, I'm not racist, I'm virtuous. How does that work? It seems...
It's real simple how it works, my friends. It's pure hypocrisy. That's it. That's the answer. There's no excusing it, although this woman is about to try.
Insane to me.
I don't know how we end up in this kind of warped world where I end up doing the history lesson of history I know you know. But when you're saying you grew up in a world where people knew it was wrong to attack others on the basis of race, I'm wondering if you were in the United States of America.
I was.
So here it is. Here it is. Here's a woman, black woman, a liberal woman. That's more important. A liberal Democrat. She says if you grew up in America, you did not grow up in a place where people weren't racist. In other words, America has always been racist. Folks, when I tell you the Democrats hate America, here it is. Here's a woman who begins her interview by saying America, by definition, is a racist country, which is absolute garbage. Now, as a black woman who managed to get on TV, I'm guessing that she makes a good amount of money because she's a black woman. So if she stopped talking about race, what the hell would she talk about? I don't know. I've seen Monique Presley on TV several times. All she talks about is race. Race, race, race. Just like your Jesse Jacksons and your Al Sharptons and your Louis Farrakhan's. All they talk about is race. Well, like Tucker Carlson, I also grew up in America where people were not attacked for their race. The last 20 years, though, the Democrats are making up for lost time. Yeah, folks, what she's saying is right. She's talking in the past tense. In the past, we did treat black people and Hispanic people poorly. And we had a civil war to correct that, to get rid of slavery. How many 800,000 people died in that war to free the slaves? Since the 1950s and 60s, we've had a storm, a tsunami of legislation making sure that minorities cannot and are not cannot be put down because of their race. We have so many safeguards in place, it's ridiculous, and yet there are still people who intend to make money by racial division.
Those are the facts of the
I'm
country we live
fully
in.
aware of that.
Okay.
But I'm 48. I'm not 78. That didn't exist where I grew up. I'm just telling you, it's just true. But the point is, I believed it. I still believe it. Why don't you believe it?
But we're just a year apart, and if you're saying because you're 48, not 78, are you saying that segregation, which really didn't formally end until we were already
It's
born?
wrong to attack people on the basis of their race. That's all I'm saying.
It absolutely
okay,
is.
Then why does the left
See,
do it?
here's the Democrats, here's the liberals' point. It's wrong to attack someone on the basis of race, but because you've been attacking us that way for so long, now we're allowed to do it to you. You know, there's an old joke. It's not that funny, but when my kids were 5 years old, they liked it. I used to say, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 2 rights make an airplane. And they would think for a second and they would laugh. Maybe they only laugh to humor me. It's not that funny, but 2 wrongs do not make a right. But the left isn't seeking what's right. The Democrats are seeking revenge and power. The Democrats figure, well, they're victims in some way, they're martyrs, and so they're allowed to break the rules and fight dirty. Well, guys, you're not. You're not. People who break the rules and fight dirty are repugnant to most Americans. People who attack anyone on the basis of race are repugnant to most Americans. And Democrats attack people on the basis of their race every day. You know what? If black Americans are angry because they've been worked against by people, they've been disenfranchised in the past, if they feel they're being segregated now, if they feel they're being done an injustice now, then let them attack those people who are committing that injustice based on the injustice, not based on their race. Don't discriminate against people because of their race. It's never okay. That's what this woman doesn't seem to get.
Ever be physical attacks of anyone?
Oh, she has no idea who the left is. She's totally clueless. Now she's becoming a liar. Well, that's interesting, and I don't know how much she reads, but I see articles like that all the time. I see people on the left saying white people shouldn't be allowed to reproduce, or white people should be killed, or white privilege. I see racism every day, and it disturbs me. I thought we were hammering out racism. I thought we'd gotten rid of it with the civil rights movement. I thought it was well on its way to being extinct, and it's being dredged up again by the left. And keep in mind, as Dinesh D'Souza has very, very clearly and painstakingly pointed out, the racism in America always came from the left, came from the Democrats. The KKK was a Democrat thing. Slavery was the Democrats. Jim Crow was the Democrats. Keep that in mind.
Based on the basis of their race.
Folks, how about all the people who put down the framers of the Constitution? They had a bunch of white guys. What are they saying on the left about Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders? Now, between you and me, they're both dummies. But the Democrats are saying, we don't need old white guys running for president. What the hell? That's racism.
Too many white guys.
Aha! So if you go for a job interview and one of the candidates opposing you is a minority, you don't get the job because 300, 400 years ago, you were racially punishing people. Folks, does your memory go back 300, 400 years? Mine doesn't. Some days I feel like it. So if you're alive today, you're going to pay for the sins of people 300 and 400 years ago. Well, first of all, blacks in Africa also enslaved blacks and shipped them to America. That's number one. Number two, I wasn't alive 300 or 400 years ago. My family wasn't even in America 300 or 400 years ago. So explain to me why I can't get a job because I'm white, because of what other people did, some of whom were black, 300 and 400 years ago. Do you begin to get the liberal mindset here? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's hypocritical. It's stupid. And the more power the Democrats get in our governments, the more it becomes institutionalized. Well, ask Bill de Blasio, like I said in the opening segment. He believes that people of a particular race have something in common. Bill de Blasio believes that blacks and Latinos are stupider than whites and that they can't compete on an even playing field. So we're going to tilt the playing field. We're going to get rid of the gifted and talented programs. De Blasio says because there aren't a lot of blacks and Hispanics in them. Always. The left is always the source of racism. We'll be back.
everything. Everything that makes you cool is exactly like you. Then we would suggest some food changes. If you should add something to your diet, maybe you should eliminate something from your diet. Then we suggest greener commodities to supplement your diet. We usually suggest between 2 and 5 things. 60 capsules cost $17.50, but remember, you're not obligated to purchase anything. Call us at 888-765-HERB, 888-765-4372 to set your no obligation appointment.
Suffering from low T, man up. Grab your rod and your wife. Come float the upper North Platte Valley and God country. Sit in the hot springs after. Call Trout Tamers Outfitter at 970-460-8873 or book a trip at trouttamers.com. At the end of your trip, you can sit in the hot springs, feel happy, visit the legends.
I hear this theme America is slowly sinking. Whose fault is it? It's not the Obamas or the Clintons. It's not Republicans or Democrats. It's not corporations, the military, or foreign countries. It's the Federal Reserve. A central banking system made up of private bankers that corrupt and control virtually all aspects of the world's money supply and the economy. All of the major problems of the world can be traced to the Federal Reserve and central banks of other countries. Hi, I'm Jason with the Colorado Front Range News Hour. Catch my show with co-host Brian here on KHNC 3 to 4, Monday through Friday. We sell gold and silver, the best way to protect your hard-earned money. Call 800-951-0592 and keep those blood-sucking bankers out of your wallet.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Howard Real behind the microphone, author of Real Truth, Stay Angry. Get your copy today. Go to virtualbookworm.com. Or if you insist, okay, I'll let you go to amazon.com or barnesandnoble.com. Wherever you go, get it, read it, love it. Now, if racism were the only thing that the liberals, the Democrats, were guilty of, I'd feel a little bit better, but it's not. Economically, they are blockheads. They want to immediately damage and destroy, if they can, this nation's economy. Here's Glenn Beck.
America
That's a nice way of saying that people who come here from the third world have their hands out and almost immediately go on welfare. I don't know if it's politically correct to say that or not, but it's often, almost always true. Well, so what? If there's no money left, we'll tax the rich. That's what the Democrats say. Except the rich won't have any money. So we'll just get money from the government. No, we won't. Because the government gets money from us. And if we don't have money, the government won't have any money. And there we are, poverty-stricken because of liberal economic and social policies. Item from InfoWars. A federal appeals court has ruled taxpayers in Idaho must fund a sex change operation for an inmate incarcerated for raping a minor. In a ruling on Monday, the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals agreed with a federal judge in Idaho who ruled that denying the gender reassignment surgery for 31-year-old Adri Edmo violated the Eighth Amendment's cruel and unusual punishment protections. Unquote. My friends, I thought that when you were a criminal, you were the one who owed a debt to society. Now you're telling me that a criminal has a debt owed to him by society? Can we get any more bass-ackwards than that? And by the way, how is it cruel and unusual punishment for someone who's in jail not to get free sex reassignment surgery? What's the punishment? What's cruel and unusual? If you wanted to say hacking off his what's this is cruel and unusual, fine. Only he wants that. That's how demented that person is. You know, I worry for the future of America, and I worry more when I read items like this. Is it possible people are going to go out and commit crimes specifically so they can get sent to jail and get free surgery? It's not just possible. It's likely. And so aren't we encouraging people to commit crime? We kind of are, right? Right. We'll be back.
You can buy gold sold just about anywhere in the world from all kinds of different fields. But why do you use the Patriot Trading Group?
20 years of service, just like that. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, just like that. Low prices, just like that. No solicitation, just like that. Buying or selling, just like that.
For all your gold and silver needs, call the Patriot Trading at 800-951-0592. Just like that.
Bigfoot, a trustworthy politician. True love. Yeah, those things are all pretty hard to find. Lucky for you, at least a great proof there is. A quick roofing proudly been perfected the greater Denver area with quality roofing for a decade. We are an Owens Corning's preferred contractor, offering our customers only the best selection and the highest quality roofing materials available on the market. Our installers have decades of experience to make sure your new roof is installed with clear quality craftsmanship. We also offer a 5-year workmanship warranty for all services and lifetime warranty for most products. Acclaimed Roofing is always available to handle any issue that may arise. Acclaimed Roofing, Bradley, 30, Colorado. Call us today at 303-592-ROOF. That's 303-592-7663 for a free estimate on your single split roof. Or visit acclaimedroofing.com. acclaimedroofing.com.
Gun! If you're looking to buy a firearm, go immediately to the big red building on 9th Avenue in Longmont. Grandpa's Pawn and Gun, the second highest volume gun dealer in Colorado, with 500 guns to choose from. Call 303-772-7952.
All right, guys, now I have a slight disagreement with Tucker Carlson. He says the Democratic Party wants to run the United States. I would add an I to that word. The Democratic Party wants to ruin the United States. And if you want to see what the Democrats' plan for your country, for your city is, all you got to do is take a look at the cities they've controlled for decades, like San Francisco, like Los Angeles, like Chicago. You know, like Baltimore. You know the names already. They're hellholes these days. Here's Tucker Carlson.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson.
Folks, I told you at the beginning of the show, If you're a middle class, working class American, you're nothing to the Democrats. And here's the proof. Thank you, Democrats, very much. Well, I don't know how to break it to this woman, but if she is, first of all, she's white, so she's finished right off the bat. Secondly, she's a business owner, an entrepreneur. That means she's paying taxes, which means the government of San Francisco, in fact, the government of California as a whole, doesn't care about her, isn't interested in her. They're not there to solve her problems. If you are a multi-millionaire or a billionaire and you can give a lot of money to the Democrat Party, they love you. If you're an illegal immigrant, they love you. If you're a criminal, since the whole place is a sanctuary state, they love you. If you're homeless, living in filth and shooting up with needles, the Democrats love you. But a white working class person? You're nothing to the Democrats. You're just in the way. Pay your taxes, send them your money. By the way, they're going to be raising your taxes as soon as they're able to. Send them your money, and then shut the hell up. That's what the Democrats have for Americans. Yeah, let me paraphrase. It's a disaster, obviously, and yet people around the country are racing to vote for Democrats again. They're voting for the people who create the problems, who sustain the problems, instead of being smart enough to vote for people who can solve the problems, the Republicans. It's absolutely stupefying to me, my friends, and people who know me in real life will tell you. I'm constantly amazed that we have people so stupid that they'll look at the situation their cities are in, been governed by Democrats for decades. And how are they going to solve them? Well, we're going to vote for Democrats. You know, there's an expression, too stupid to live. I'm not saying these people are too stupid to live. I'm also not saying that they're not too stupid to live. It's like combating racism with more racism. Oh, I forgot, we do that also. We'll be back.
from a big corporation who outsources their jobs and pays little to no taxes, ask yourself, what do you really want in a realtor? You need a realtor who is honest and has integrity, a realtor who's focused on the client's bottom line, not the realtor's bottom line, who provides personable, over-the-top service before, during, and after the transaction. You want a realtor that knows how to market your property. Hi, I'm James Morgan, a realtor with Grisham & Associates, LLC. I am your Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, or urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to move up or downsizing, we will do better than your last transaction. Call me today at 720-203-0731 or visit coloradoproperties.online. Let me do a great job for you. Grandpa's Pawn and Gun just celebrated 25 years of business. They're a family-owned and family-operated store and the only non-corporate pawn shop in Longmont, Colorado. According to Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, they are the state's second highest volume firearms dealer. Grandpa's has over 500 guns for sale at this time, plus an excellent variety of archery equipment. Hunting season is just around the corner, and protecting your family is always included. Grandpa's staff has over 100 combined years of experience, including Chris Lewis and Brady Hale, who are licensed gunsmiths. 25 collective years will be Grandpa.
Jason here. I've known Rod, the owner of Grandpa's Pawn, since the mid-1990s when I managed his blackjack depot location in Longmont. He was our first advertiser at KHNC. He is trustworthy and honest. I trust him, and you will too. Call 303-772-7952. That's 303-772-7952.
My friends, what's some proof that I can give you that this man-made climate change business is nonsense? Well, here it is from InfoWars. Climate research commissioned by the Obama administration concluded the $15 million Massachusetts mansion that the former first families in the middle of buying could soon be underwater, unquote. So Obama and his administration never shut up about the fact that the climate is changing. We're all going to be sinking underwater because of the melting ice flows at the north. And yet he just spent $15 million on a house that, if his science were correct, will soon be underwater. Hypocrisy alert. Item from InfoWars. Headline, WTF. Kamala Harris praises morbidly obese rapper who has a giant twerking booty stage prop. Unquote. Folks, go to InfoWars and see this. Here's this obese rapper on stage, and behind her is a float. It's like something you'd see in the Thanksgiving Day Macy's parade of a huge butt. And Kamala Harris can't stop praising this woman. Item, also from InfoWars. Chanel has signed a transgender model to a new Chanel beauty ad campaign, making a first for the high-end French cosmetics brand, unquote. Ladies, will you buy a product just because a transgender model is modeling it? Really? Item again from InfoWars. Seattle, Washington, one of the most liberal cities in America, is having trouble deciding how to get human feces removed from their sidewalk thanks to a Democrat city councilman who claims that pressure washers are racist. Now, this guy's name is, Larry, what the hell is his name? Larry Gossett. Gossett pushed back against the idea of power washing the sidewalks, saying it brought back images of hoses being used against civil rights activists, unquote. I've never met Larry Gossett. I know he's a moron, and I guarantee you he's a Democrat. Item from Media. Tucker Carlson has come under intense scrutiny in the past few weeks and has lost advertisers following his recent comments dismissing white supremacy as, quote, not a real problem in America, and that concern about it is, quote, a hoax, unquote. Tucker Carlson is right. White supremacy is not a major problem in this country, but the media would have you believe that it is. Why? Because the media gets money and influence by telling you it is. Item from Reuters, Dateline Jerusalem. Jerusalem, ancient sacred city and heart of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, takes on a wholly different tone around midnight. Long after visitors have made their daytime pilgrimages to Muslim, Jewish, and Christian places of worship, a handful of trend-setting clubs, bars, and impromptu art galleries come alive. The drag shows, hipster parties, and hardcore punk bands in West Jerusalem seem a world apart from nearby Jewish ultra-Orthodox areas of the Palestinian neighborhoods in the city's eastern sector. Unquote. Drag shows in the holiest city on the planet. And none of the politicians in Israel have the guts or the brains to stop it. From the New York Post, a Washington, D.C. mother says her political consultant husband left her for Representative Ilhan Omar, according to a bombshell divorce filing obtained by the Post. Excuse me, folks, I don't pretend to be an expert in Islam, but is someone allowed to shack up with another woman's husband in Islam? Could that possibly be right? Well, I know that it's not right. I know that Islam does not allow women to go sleeping with other people's husbands. But I also know Ilhan Omar is a lowlife, and so I believe the allegations. I'll be back tomorrow. Hasta luego.